Hi, I'm Sherwin, and I'm a DaVinci Resolve certified trainer. In this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the exciting features of the media page. Now, you can start Resolve without going into the media page, but that's actually the first place that I go to when I'm in Resolve, because I know that when I spend a little bit more time importing, organizing, and prepping my project in the media page, the less time I spend, looking for the stuff that I need, and that ultimately gives me so much more time to be creative. So let's dive right in. If your interface looks a little bit different than mine, go ahead and reset the UI layout. So go to the Workspace menu and reset your UI layout. Now at the top of the media page is the interface toolbar. This is where you can show and hide different parts of the interface. Now below this is the media storage. You can find a list of all your drives and the contents in the drive. Now let me open up my Hyperlight Media and I'll navigate to the Medbay, and I'm going to click on a clip, and by doing so it brings it up in the viewer. In the viewer I can preview my clips using the transport control. I can use my spacebar to play and pause. I can even use my mouse to hover over a clip, and I'll see this right in the viewer. Now, this is called the Live Media Preview. This is an amazing feature that can save you a lot of time. You can quickly scrub through a lot of clips and find the clip that you want. This feature is turned on and off in the Options menu in your viewer. To the right of that is the audio panel. This is where you can see audio meters and a waveform. Below that is the metadata panel. This is where you can see metadata that's associated with your clip, and you can also find different categories to customize it. When you're ready to import your media, you can bring it down into the media pool located at the bottom of your media page. The media pool is the place where all your media stays, and Resolve's going to look in that media pool for the rest of the projects. So, now that we've got the interface, now that we've talked about the interface, let's jump into the media storage and import some clips. You can import clips in many different ways, but let me show you some of the ways that I like to import. Of course, there's the drag and drop. I'll switch to this folder, and I'll drag all of these in, and I can create a bin by right-clicking and add bin. So I'll name it One CryoPod. Let me jump back to the master, and I'll bring these clips inside in that bin. Another way to import media is to just click and drag the folder from your media storage down into the media pool. And when I do that, Resolve will automatically import and create bins for you. Another awesome feature is, let's jump outside of Resolve into the system windows. So I've got a folder here, and you see the folder, subfolders and media inside the folder. I'm going to click and drag that directly into the media pool, and Resolve will recognize the folder structure and the media inside and import and create bins for you. Now, this is a really cool feature. Now, imagine you were given a drive full of thousands and thousands of clips and folders, and all you need to do is drag that main folder into the media pool, and Resolve will recognize that entire folder structure and create a bin structure that mirrors that. So that's going to save you a ton of time and, again, allow you to start working and being creative. So now that we've got some of our clips imported, let's take a look at the media pool. In the media pool, I'm in my thumbnail view. I can increase the size of my thumbnails by dragging the slider. I can also sort these clips with these categories in this drop-down menu. Again, I'm currently in the thumbnail view. I can switch over to list view. Now, list view is really cool because it gives you a bunch of different columns of information about the clip that, in thumbnail view, you don't see that much. So you can also double-click on the column header to sort. By default, Resolve gives you a number of columns. If you want to customize it, you can right-click, and it'll bring up this list. You can select, deselect columns. I'm going to hide a few more. OK. And let's say this is the column layout that you like, that works best for your workflow. You can save this as a preset. So I'm right-clicking on the column header, and at the very top, it says Create Column Layout. So I'll call this Basic. So next, I want to talk about a few other ways that I use to help streamline my importing and organization. I'll bring up this clip here in the viewer. And you can see that the clip name is an alphanumeric string, pretty much what the camera created. Typically, when I'm editing, it's much easier for me to understand what the clip is when it's named something like the scene and take. So I'm going to rename this to the slate. I'll name it 1 Take 3. Now, when I do that, I'm only changing the clip name. If you look in the metadata panel, the original media file still stays the same. So the clip name is just what Resolve will use to reference this media file for the rest of the pages. Another thing that I like to do is first I'll switch over the thumbnail view. Now, thumbnail view is great because it gives me a really nice frame of my clip, and I can quickly sort through, let's say a large bin of footage, and I can quickly scrub through that, and I can see what that thumbnail is. Now, jumping back to this screen, you can see that the slate totally obscures the shot. So I have no idea what's in the shot other than a big slate. So using my live media preview, I can hover through, and what I want to do is set this frame so it's much more representative of the shot. So I'll find a frame that looks good, and I think this frame looks good because it not only shows me the frame, but it also shows me a moment here. So this scene is important, and and her performance is really good. So I'll right-click, and I'll set this as the poster frame. And when I do that, I can scrub through, and when I jump away, it goes back to that frame. So this is a really nice feature to have so that it, again, saves you more time. Next thing I want to do is, so now that we've got the media organized and prepped, the next thing I want to do is jump into syncing. The first thing I'll do is I'll just organize the sidebar with the bins. I'll right-click and sort by name. Okay. So I'll jump into my manual bin. There are two different ways of syncing in Resolve. You can manually sync or auto sync. We'll first talk about manual syncing. Now, in general, the principles are you find a visual sync point, find an audio sync point, and then tell Resolve, sync it at this frame. So let's first find our visual sync point. Click this and bring it into our viewer. Thankfully, they use the slate so we can easily find a visual sync point, which is the frame which these sticks come together. So I'm using my keyboard to go back, and I'll stop it on the frame. For the audio sync point, I'm going to my audio panel. I'll click on the waveform tab, and I want to make sure I load up the correct take sound file, so it's 1 Take 3. Now, I'm going to find the sound sync point, which is right here. Now that I've found both points, I'm going to tell Resolve to link it. At the bottom of the audio panel is this link audio button. When I link it, my audio transport disappears because it's now linked to my video. So let's find a spot where we have dialogue, and all right, great sync. Now we've got clean audio with this picture. And that's how easy it is to manually sync. So let's go to auto syncing. I'm clicking in my auto sync bin. I'm going to increase the size. All right. So let's take a listen to the audio files first. Okay, we have clean production sound, and let's listen to. Okay, so not so clean. So what we're going to do is replace the camera audio with this clean production sound. So let me highlight and right-click any of the clips. I'll go to Auto Sync Audio. Resolve gives you two different ways of auto syncing. You can sync by timecode or by waveform. Now, since these clips don't have timecode embedded, we're going to just use based on waveform. Click that. Resolve will analyze both clips and align them to match. And
identify the person on the med slide.
perfect, great. So you can auto sync one at a time, or you can tell Resolve to do the work for you and batch sync a ton of clips. So let me select these 4 clips here, and I'll right-click and do based on waveform again. Now you can see that Resolve is starting to sync, and it's going to analyze all 4 of these clips. And once it's done, we should have everything synced. So let's check this out.
Okay. That's why we came here.
Great. And then,
What's the current date and time?
great. So this is an amazing feature in Resolve. Now imagine this. You have a bin of, let's say, 100 clips, right? You've got to sync them. You don't have to manually sync them or auto sync one at a time. You can just tell Resolve, hey, sync this bin. I'm gonna go get a sandwich. It better be done when I come back. And this is all done. And this is such an amazing feature. Again, it will save you so much time. Now, one of the cool things is when sound gets synced to the video clips, the metadata from the sound gets embedded into the video. So metadata is, and that's really what the job of a DIT is. They'll sync, and then afterwards, they're gonna look at the metadata, prep it, and let it go to editorial. Larger productions and post facilities, for them, metadata is absolutely essential to their workflow, and a lot of them use Resolve. In the media page, you can actually work with metadata in the very same way, and that's really cool. So let me show you some of the different ways that you can work with metadata that will speed up your workflow. So let me bring up a clip, and let's look at the metadata panel. I'm going to hide my audio panel just to give metadata panel a little bit more room. At the top right is a drop-down menu. These are different categories of metadata, and you can enter in custom metadata for it. So what we're going to do is tag some clips with character's name and the type of shot it is, and put that into the metadata. Then we're going to use a special bin called a smart bin to filter those results, and you'll see what's going to happen. Let me jump back into the shot and scene metadata category. And let me first tag this clip. All right, so we have one character, and it's around a medium shot. So for this character, her name is Emiliana. And the shot type, shot size, let's call it a medium. All right, and we've tagged our first clip with metadata, and it's really simple. You can also tag multiple clips with metadata, or tag them multiple at a time. So let's look through. So this contains 2 characters, and it's in OTS, and over the shoulder. So we'll enter in first Emiliana. Second character's name is Philip, and I'll type in over, and we'll use over for OTS. At the bottom, we'll save it. And now we tagged both of these clips with that metadata. So now that we've done the work prepping our clips, let's go create a smart bin. So I'll add a smart bin, and I want this smart bin to search for all the clips that contain Emiliana. So I'm going to name this smart bin Emiliana Shots, and below are all the different categories of the search criteria. We entered information in the shot and scene metadata category. Then we entered into the keywords field. And watch what happens. I'll type in EM. I'm not going to even finish. And you can see that it pulls up all the shots that were tagged with that. So I'm going to just create the smart bin. There. So now we've got shots that contain Emiliana. Now, smart bins are always looking in your media pool for things that match its criteria. So let's tag another clip with metadata in the keywords. And watch what happens when I jump back to Emiliana Shots. One take 3 is there. So it automatically populates your bin depending on whatever metadata fits its criteria. I'm hoping you see how cool smart bins are, because you can start seeing all the different ways that you can use a smart bin to speed up your searches, to help with organization. Now, the next thing I want to show you is using metadata to do some clip renaming. Now, this is really cool. I'll jump into my dailies bin. And in this dailies bin, you can see that there's metadata already for most of these clips. What I want to do is use this metadata, tell Resolve, use this metadata, rename my clips. So I'll highlight all of these clips. I'll select all using Command A. Right-click, and I'll go into Clip Attributes. I'll go into the Name tab, and in the clip name, this is where I'll do some work. I want to make sure the naming convention is something similar to, let's say, a scene and then a take number. So I'll first type in a percent, and that brings up metadata variables. So it's pretty much all these metadata fields in this list. I'm looking for scene, and I'll do a space and I'll type in take. I'll type in percent, and then I'll look for the take number. So this is a fairly straightforward way, but I actually want to add a little bit more description to it. Because there's metadata for it, I want to make this clip name much more descriptive. So I also want to know which camera it was shot on, so I'll type in cam, and then I'll do the variable of cam number. Then I'll also do the shot type. So I'll percent shot type. Okay, so check this out. Renamed. All of these clips are renamed in a matter of seconds. So I'll click this, and you can see that it's renamed with this take. Let me let this sink in for y'all. It just renamed a ton of clips for you automatically. So just imagine, the time savings. I mean, if I had to do this manually, like click here and then type all this stuff in, let's say you had hundreds of clips. I mean, by the time you finish, there'd be like a new version of Resolve out there. So this is amazing. It speeds up your workflow. Now, remember, this only works when you take the time to tag, organize, and prep your footage. So this, again, if you remember to spend some time doing that, you're going to spend less time searching for your media. Again, ultimately leaving so much more time to be creative. Now that you've imported, tagged your metadata, and synced clips, you're ready to edit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a better understanding of the power of the media page. Now, if you're interested in learning more, please visit the Blackmagic Design Forum. This is a great resource to go to. You can communicate directly with the people who make the software and the people that actually use the software. And this is a place that I go to all the time to find answers. And it's actually a really cool place to connect with other people. For more training options, you can, for example, training partners, certified books, and additional videos. Please visit the DaVinci Resolve training website on the Blackmagic Design website. Additionally, you can go into the Resolve Help menu and select DaVinci Resolve Training. I hope you're excited about the media page. This is a really great page, and thanks for watching.